At first, too few COVID-19 vaccines, now enough vaccines, but not enough people willing to vaccinate. This situation seems to increasingly jeopardize the successes achieved against the SARS-CoV-2 pandemic in the Western industrialized countries. The British medical journal, the BMJ, has now reported that the vaccination routes in England are only running at 30% capacity because the young adults are absent. We had the challenge with a lot of those willing to vaccinate, but not enough vaccine. Now we have exactly the opposite of it. We have absolutely large quantities of vaccines and we don't have enough people who come to vaccinate, reported Pippa Nightingale, head of the nursing department at National Health System for the London regions of Chelsea and Westminster last Wednesday at a meeting of the London Health Authorities. Nightingale said, "Our activities collapsed this week. Our vaccination lines are only working at 30% of their capacity because more people are not showing up. We have the staff there, we have the vaccine there, but we are struggling with these difficulties." That is the picture in London. It is the picture in the whole country. Also in Great Britain, which after initial difficulties with COVID-19 immunizations soon took one of the top ranks internationally, 69% of people there are currently vaccinated for the first time, 53% in full vaccination protection. The number of vaccine doses administered has significantly reduced. According to the latest data, only around 755,000 initial doses of the vaccine were given to people of all age groups in England in the week up to July 4th. A week earlier, it was 1.17 million. By then, 57% of 18 to 24-year-olds across England had received a primary vaccination, 52% in London and 62% in the east of England. The problems are not unexpected. Pippa Nightingale said, "We expected that young adults would be a difficult group. They behave as expected. They believe that they are immune. They believe that they do not need the vaccination because they do, in case of illness, would not have to be admitted to an intensive care unit anyway." The British authorities are now increasingly relying on events and vaccination options for adolescents and young adults outside the usual levels of care. The pattern seems to be similar internationally. In any case, according to the head of the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, Rochelle Walensky, in state with the sufficient vaccine supplies, COVID-19 is developing into a phenomenon for certain population groups. This is becoming a pandemic for the unvaccinated, she noted. And among these groups are increasingly represented adolescents and young adults who, due to the initial shortage of vaccines, only arrive relatively late and are now reluctant to have the vaccinations. Last but not least, according to the latest data, that's from the week of July 5th, the group of 15 to 24-year-old has the highest 7-day COVID-19 incidence in Austria, for example. That was 4 times as high as in the general population and more than twice as high among the 25 to 34-year-olds. And in Austria, according to the official figures, 22% of 15 to 24-year-olds are fully vaccinated. And I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.